Hey, hi there everybody. Yeah, sorry about what happened yesterday. I was doing that clip and I've forgotten the memory card. Needed attention. Anyway, never mind. What I was talking about, if you remember, just to recap, we were talking about taking, for example, a pot. Making the analogy of the pot being like a body, a physical body, like a person, and the glaze being like the clothing that you put over that body, over the pot, and the decoration being also, together with the glaze, an enhancement of the form. In many cases, I've noticed. I try to be, you know, strict with myself. That if the form is bad, it's almost better to throw the pot away and start again, rather than trying to salvage the form if it's bad, just with a glaze and with a decoration. It does work sometimes. One can, because what's happened is if you do a particularly good decoration, say, it can take your eye away from the fact that actually the form is not quite right. So I'll just bring the camera down here a bit on the so you can see a bit more what I'm about down there. I'm not doing a lot. I'm talking more than doing, I think, at the moment. But anyway, okay, so let's say basically this clip was about how I go about decorating, and I just you know, it's not that it's the only way that you can do it. It's the way that I do it, and I think a lot of us are taught how to make pots, but we're not often taught how to go about seeing or being inspired about having a decoration. So basically you could break this down into two aspects, and that is seeing the decoration, or knowing what is the appropriate glaze decoration, glaze treatment for that piece. That's one. And then two is actually having the skill to be able to carry out and apply that inspiration in practical terms to the pot. I'll just take the first part of that, the inspirational part of having a pot and knowing how to decorate it or how to treat it. Now, some pots, for example, like this one, has already got a scratched decoration already. I've already done that to that, so that is in itself halfway already there, if you know what I mean. Another one here, this is already been sgraffito etched like that, so that is already sorted. Just a question. Take this one. Also, this is cut-sided and then fluted horizontally between where it's still a little bit thicker there. I fluted it, but going sideways. Other pots, like this one, for example, well, I haven't really done a lot to that. It's just slightly squared. I did square it. When I did it, and oftentimes when I do these pots, I don't really know how I'm going to finish them off, but I just make sure that I get the shape right. And usually what happens is how I get inspired, if you like, that is, I just hold the pot and look at it, and I try to sort of empty my mind of preconceived ideas or thoughts about trying to be arty or clever or anything like that, and I try to approach the pot in a childlike manner as much as possible. and I do believe that if you approach this in the right way, and it does demand a certain amount of humility, I think, to stand before the pot or hold the pot in your hand and look at it and let the pot somehow communicate to you something that it requires. And if you, I've tried to, and this is sounding awfully deep and arty, and I don't want it to, because it isn't. It's so simple. This is the point. It's so simple that most people miss it because they think it's something. It is something arty and it is something deep, but it isn't. It's very direct and very simple. But you know, if you hold a pot and look at it for long enough, you'll get an idea. Will suddenly leap out from that pot into your mind. It may be a sort of a need or a feeling that you just got to. Oh, there's something there that just makes you want to do a certain stroke, you know. Or you may suddenly think, oh yeah, I know what I'll do. I'll dip it in such a way like this, and then and then it'll give me opportunity to do 4 separate little motifs, for example. Each pot might be different, you know. Each pot might, and it's a kind of relief in a way, I think, you know, that I don't have to sort of try to strive at this decorating thing, you know, and become really intense about it, because that's not the way to be. The way to be is just enjoy it, be simple, be like a child. And I often will do this, and as I say, each shape is going to present. Now okay, I'm talking about the sort of inspirational side of it, not the how to do it. Okay, having the inspiration, as I said before, is one thing, but actually having the skill and the ability to be able to use a brush to carry that out, you may not have. Well, that's maybe something you can practice, you know, on sheets of newspaper, if it's a case of using a Japanese brush. You could practice on sheets of newspaper or on some kind of computer paper or something like that. Or I've actually used white tiles. You can get the brush working on that quite well, but you need to bear in mind, of course, that a tile isn't going to give you, you know, the absorption of a tile isn't like paper, newspaper. Sorry, I mustn't lose my train of thought here. So we're talking about the inspirational side of this. Let's approach our. Let's first of all make sure that the pots that we're making, the shapes are good. I don't want to get into right now what is a good shape, because you know there are many. I'm probably going to get into a hotbed of controversy with different people's ideas and opinions and all that. I don't want to do that at all. But as I say, starting off with the good shape, and then letting the pot speak to you. You may have a very simple little. It might be a nudge in your mind. You may see it very clearly what you should do, or you might just see lines going across it. You might feel the need to pick up the brush and do some sort of mark on it. And the secret is, do it. Don't be afraid. Okay. There comes a time when you've got to take that brush and you've got to apply it. And it may be at first you don't get it right. Okay. If that's the case, don't panic. Okay. Keep practicing. Keep doing it. All right. And you'll keep listening to the pot as something will come into your mind about that shape, something that it needs. All right, just do that in a very simple way, and that's how I do it. I have to say it doesn't always work. You know, it's a case of practicing. I mean, I've got a few little vases here. You could have a variety of different decorative treatments that would work. It's not that it can only be one. Now that you could look at that one, and you could say, "Oh yeah, I can see that works. Yeah, I can see that works." Well, why does it work? You might be the next question. Well, why does it work? Well, let's have a look at it. I mean, it's round. You see, it's repeating the form of the shape of the pot, isn't it? Visually. So in a sense, that does work. Now this decoration I just put on here is what we call crosshatch. Well, crosshatch can work on any number of pots. It just depends how you go about doing it. Yeah, and I think that can work on there very well as that can. What else? Some kind of grasses bending in the wind. Try and get a bit of life in your brush, in the strokes. It's never good to sort of go do a decoration and then have to go over it a second time and sort of touch it up. Try to be fresh about it and do it just once. It may not be quite perfect, but sometimes it's better to leave it than to come back to it and to start touching it up. This is one I did. A lot of these kind of decorations are taken from nature. Grasses that grow, branches that hang from trees, leaves, birds, fish. They're the familiar things that we see round about us every day. There's nothing really there's nothing really hidden or deep about it, but I mean it is deep in itself, isn't it? I mean, and then sometimes, like here's a bowl. In this case, no decoration. Oh, no decoration, you say? What? No decoration? Yeah, no decoration. Because, actually I've got one, I'll just show it to you. Just had it out of the last raku firing. I'll be back in 5 seconds. Hang on. I'm coming. I just grabbed a handful of other pots actually, just to show you while we're here, talking about all this, all this decoration stuff. But there you see the, all right, unfired, and then this is in its fired state. Sometimes, you know, you've got enough going on in a pot, you know, especially with a raku pot, with the crazing effect that you get, plus the contrast with the black with the white, plus the curves, the shape, that, you know, it's okay. It doesn't need any more. So that other one there, I'm leaving also like that, because I quite like that one in its way. Here's another little one, similar story, before and after. You see, in this case here, the glaze has run that much more because it was hotter. Okay, and another one there. That was actually a bird. In fact, I think I did that one. This is I think you saw me do this one. I think I did this one on a clip. That was the bird that I wasn't 100% happy with, but, well, doesn't come out too bad. Now this is quite a nice little treatment with and you fill it up, and then you hold it, you see, and you just go like that. Let it go with gravity down, and just shoot it diagonally across like that, you see. But what I like about that, I suppose, is the contrast, isn't it? You've got this contrast going on between And you can put these spidery trails going in all kind of directions. In the bottom I've just put a swirl of copper carbonate there. Again, this one is one of those ones that you saw me doing the other day. I used the spoon actually, not this, but I poured it, didn't I? Across like that. I try and do when I'm doing these raku things, I get very I like to try and be spontaneous, keep it alive, keep it moving, keep the action going there. And as I say, so be receptive to the inspiration that the pot may give to you. All right, you don't have to be too premeditated about your decoration and having to sort of work it all out and kind of subdivide the pot and a lot of, well, I'm not saying it's wrong to do that. I'm just sharing with you the way that I do it and what works for me. That's all I can do, isn't it? Hey, Simon Leach here saying, keep practicing. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.